Българската народна банка. Hello everybody, it's a pleasure for me to open the first press conference after our official event, and it's an honor to me to introduce Mrs. Lagarde, the President of the European Central Bank, and Mr. Dimitar Radev, Governor of the Bulgarian National Bank. Mrs. Lagarde, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and good morning to all of you. It's a great privilege and an honor to be jointly hosting you on the occasion of this press conference. But before I do that, and before I say a few words, I'm going to remove this very secretive piece of cloth which is hiding a secret. So stay tuned. Shall we do it together?
Една тайна. Заедно да я вдигнем завесата.
Sorry. I'll keep it.
Я по-добре да стои.
Okay, there we go.
Така. От другата страна вие. И двамата ще подпишем сега. Това, благодаря. Отпред ли да подписваме? По-добре от тази страна и след това ще обърнем, за да го видите. Обръщаме.
So we are very, very pleased to be welcoming Bulgaria in
да приветстваме с добре дошла България.
The euro area with the euro as its currency. This is not happening today. It will be happening on the 1st of January. It will happen overnight, and it is the end of a process that has taken many years of hard work to prepare, many years of hard reforms to converge, and many expectations to respond to. Bulgaria has been very close to Europe and to the euro area for many years because of the currency board that it has had for decades. But it means that as of January the 1st, Bulgaria will get the full benefit of being part of the euro area using the euro as its currency. I know, we all know, that there are Bulgarians who are concerned, who are apprehensive, who are fearful of the change. And I can assure you that it happens in every new member joining the euro area. There might be some activation of conspiracy-like theory about the euro, but the best response to that is what happens in real life, which is that after the country has exceeded the euro area, the support for the euro increases very quickly. At the moment, in the euro area, the support for the euro is at a historic high of 83%. 83% of Europeans value the euro, are attached to the euro as their currency. And Bulgaria will be joining this community, and it will enhance by its presence and its talent and its capacity to create, innovate and transform the entire group of the euro area. So we're delighted to have this 21 member coming as of January the 1st, and personally, my dear Dimitri, I'm looking forward to you being a full-fledged member of the Governing Council, with the voice of Bulgaria and the vote of Bulgaria counting as much as much
да имат същата
as the vote
стойност,
of
същата,
any other
както
member around the
и
table,
гласа на всеки един
as
друг
high
от членовете
as
около
any voice
масата.
around the table.
И да се чува високо,
Doesn't matter whether
толкова
you're a
колкото
small
на всеки
country
един
or a
друг.
very large country.
Няма
The
значение дали си
voice is
малка или
heard in
голяма
the same
държава
way,
в Европа,
and the vote counts just as much.
гласът е
So
същия.
with that, I guess
И
you have
с това
the floor.
искам да ти дам думата.
Thank you.
Благодаря.
Madam President, dear Christine, first
Госпожо
of all, thank you
президент,
very
скъпа
much.
Кристин,
It's
най-напред
a
много
wonderful
благодаря
gift and a truly weighty one.
чудесния подарък.
I would like to say both literally and symbolically.
Буквално и символично.
It will have a special place in our museum,
Този подарък ще намери специално
which
място
tells the
в
story
нашия
of money
музей, който
through our
разказва
Asian
историята
lines.
на
Thank you very
парите,
much
които се
indeed.
използвани в нашата държава. Много благодаря
Madam
наистина.
President, ladies and
Госпожо
gentlemen,
президент,
you
уважаеми
all for
дами и
being here
господа,
today.
много ви благодаря за това, че сме заедно
It's a
днес.
great pleasure and honor once
Голямо
again
удоволствие и чест за
in
мен
this
е да
format
повторя
to welcome
в този
President Lagarde
формат да
on
приветствам
her
добре
first
дошла
visit to Bulgaria.
президента Лагард на първото й посещение
Dear
в
Christine,
България.
we're
Скъпа Кристин,
truly delighted to have you with
истинско
us.
удоволствие за нас
You are among friends
да
who
бъдеш
deeply
сред нас,
appreciate your
сред
leadership
приятели,
and your vision
които
at the helm of
оценяват
the European Central
твоето
Bank,
лидерство
especially
и визията за
in these
Европейската
times of
централна банка,
profound
особено
economic
в
and
времена като тези
geopolitical uncertainty.
на
Your
голяма
visit
геополитическа и
comes at a
икономическа
particularly
несигурност.
meaningful moment for Bulgaria.
Визитата идва в
Our country
специален
is
момент за
approaching the
България.
final stage of its journey toward membership in the euro
Сме в
area,
края
a goal
на
that has guided our national
пътешествието
and
си
institutional
до
efforts for many
еврозоната.
years. This process has been driven by a clear strategic vision to strengthen the foundations of stability, deepen European integration, and achieve lasting convergence with our European partners. Bulgaria and the banking sector, in
присъединяването към
particular,
нашите европейски партньори.
has already reached a high degree of alignment with the euro area framework. Through our participation in ERM2 and our close cooperation with the ECB since 2020, we have effectively prepared our institutions, markets and prices for the next step, formal entry into the euro area. This achievement reflects a long and disciplined effort supported by our partners across Europe and in particular by the ECB. Dear Christine, we are deeply grateful for your continued support and for the professionalism and dedication of our ECB colleagues throughout this process. The forthcoming adoption of the euro will mark a truly historic milestone for Bulgaria. It will complete our economic and monetary integration with Europe, reinforce confidence in our financial system, and open new perspectives for growth and prosperity. At the same time, it will bring new responsibilities. Responsibilities we are ready to assume with the same prudence and discipline that have guided us so far. Bulgaria's accession to the euro area is also an expression of our trust in and contribution to the European project. A project built on cooperation, solidarity, and shared responsibility. We firmly believe that a stronger and more integrated Europe benefits all its members, and we're committed to playing our part
поемем ангажимент да изиграем своята роля в
Your
тази
visit
обща рамка.
and today's
Вашето
discussion
посещение
reaffirm
и
our shared
участието в
determination
дискусията
to
днес,
complete this process in a way
споделиха,
that strengthens both
нашата
Bulgaria
решимост
and the euro area as a whole.
за
Dear
продължаваме
President Lagarde,
и да продължаваме
thank you once
приноса
again
си за
for being here
еврозоната.
today and for the support and partnership of the institution you lead
и
with such
партньорството
distinction.
от страна на
Thank you.
институцията, която оглавявате по такъв достоен начин. Много ви благодаря.
Благодаря на госпожа Лагард и на управителя на Българската народна банка. Колеги, имате думата за въпроси. Въпросите ще бъдат ограничени до 15 минути, тъй като пресконференцията приключва в 12:15. И моля да се съобразите с това да не са много дълги. Заповядайте. Българска телеграфна агенция.
You didn't say 15 minutes per question, no?
Yes,
Okay.
15 minutes per question.
Madame Lagarde, Mr. Radev, thank you for the opportunity. Madame Lagarde, in what regional and global economic background Bulgaria is joining the euro area, and how this will affect the transition period? And if I have the opportunity to ask Mr. Radev about his first thought about the draft budget bill that was presented yesterday, and if he sees some reforms in it about the fiscal consolidation.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your question. You know, Bulgaria is joining at a time when it matters to be together, where it matters to be united, and where size, scope, scale actually matter. Bulgaria is joining at a time when there is more volatility, at a time when we have more shocks, one after the other, compounded, and at a time when the global order as we have known it is more fragmented, and when friends are probably fewer. So it's a time when it's important to close ranks and to be together. You might think that it's a difficult time, and it is, but it's a time that is propitious to standing united and standing together, because we are simply stronger together, as the national heroes said. Shall you take the second part?
I'm wondering, you probably know that there will be another press conference with the Minister of Finance. Yes, I know, but no, I'm not trying. It's a good relevant question, so I'm not trying to avoid the question. Let me start by saying that we've earned a reputation over the years for a fiscally responsible country. And this is demonstrated by one of the lowest debt to GDP ratios in Europe, and not only. However, since 2020, we have been gradually losing this disciplined fiscal stance. I've consistently emphasized that we need to reverse this trend. And we now face the same dilemma in the context of the 2026 budget. From a macroeconomic standpoint, the best approach would be to exercise tighter control over current expenditure and to prioritize public investment projects that support long-term growth. If there is no capacity to do so, the remaining options are higher taxes and higher debt. These are not good alternatives. They carry adverse macroeconomic but also political consequences, as recent experience in other European countries clearly shows. So in short, we need to return as soon as possible to the path of sound, disciplined fiscal policy, and the upcoming discussions for the 2026 budget will be indicative if there is political capacity to do it. Thank you.
I think for those who are not Bulgarian in the room, it's worth reminding a few of the indicators, because Bulgaria stands on a very strong set of fundamentals. When I look at my numbers, I have for 25, 3% growth, 3.4% inflation, 3.9% unemployment, 29.3% debt to GDP ratio, and 4% fiscal balances. So Bulgaria stands on that really strong record that you have mentioned, Dimitri, and it should stay the course. It should really continue on that path and set standards.
по този път и да поставя тези стандарти.
Заповядайте.
Sabina Rosset with Italian News Agency ANSA. Thanks for the floor. It's a very European issue, if I may, for Mrs. Lagarde. Do you consider that the stability of the Eurozone could be jeopardized by the idea of using the Russian frozen asset for the reparation loan to Ukraine, provided that it is not a conflict escalation, of course? Thank you.
Заема за укрепване за Украина, за възстановяване. Благодаря ви за небългарския въпрос. Който зададахте. Мисля, че позицията на Европейската централна банка винаги била ясна. В ръцете на Европейската комисия за нейното предложение, в ръцете на съвета е да се взима такова решение, но нашата позиция в ЕЦБ е, че всички разглеждани възможности трябва да бъдат разглеждани в съответствие с международните правни принципи, защото ние изпълняваме и сме изцяло сме водени от върховенството на закона. По въпроса с финансовата стабилност трябва да бъде адресиран и това е непроменена.
Телевизия имаше въпрос. Заповядай.
Ирина Цонева, Българска национална телевизия, Мадам Лагард. In our country, as you know, there are a lot of widespread threats about that after the 1st of January, all the prices will become higher and higher. What is the actual data containing the last countries that already got the euro? What is your idea about that, if this is going to happen or not? And Mr. Radev, tell me please, do we have enough euro banknotes in order to fulfill all those people that gonna want to have them just immediately after the New Year's Eve? And what about our bank system? Is it good enough to have the power to have all those people that want to have euro?
Да отговори на всички хора, които искат да използват евро. Благодаря ви по първата част от въпроса ви. Принципът е простичък. Взимате настоящата цена в лева. Има официален обменен курс,
And that gives you the price in euro. The principle of the transition is that there can be no variation and that it has to be to the cent, the same as the previous price. So two observations. One is, historically, it was the case with Croatia, it was the case with previous member states when they joined, because people understand this. They tend to increase prices a little bit before the convertibility. So in many ways,
преминаването и превалутирането. Тоест, ако цените ще се променят, то те вече най-вероятно са включени в ценообразуването и вече се е случило. Вече са променени цените. Второ, трябва да има строгост и наблюдение от страна на властите, потребителите и инвеститорите, за да не могат хората да злоупотребяват и да се
What we have observed in real life is that there is a small variation because of the rounding up and because some in the retail sector, in the trading system, tend to round up to the higher decimal. And as a result, the increase in prices, short-lived, generally it impacts for a period of 6 to 12 months, is of a magnitude that varies between 0.2 and 0.4. The variation between the two is often a factor of how high the inflation is at that moment. But that's what we have observed, and as I said in my remarks earlier, it tends to fade out over the course of time, and a lot is dependent on the people themselves, because they have to be vigilant, and the authorities have to implement the principle and sanction those who do not respect it.
И да санкционират тези, които не се придържат към правилата. Благодаря ви.
Един кратък въпрос и кратък отговор. Прощавайте, господин.
Just a practical question, so I'll be try to be practical in my answer. We've ensured sufficient quantities of euro banknotes and coins will be available from the very first hours of the new year. The Bulgarian National Bank, in close cooperation with the ECB and the national central banks from the euro area, has very carefully organized the entire process of delivery and distribution. Do not also forget that throughout January, payments in level will be accepted, ensuring a smooth and convenient transition. Also, card payments and electronic transactions will continue to operate seamlessly and will be made in euro from the very first day, making daily life easier during the changeover. And our banking system, which, as discussed, is strong, well capitalized, highly liquid, is fully prepared to meet the increased activity in the first days of the year and to ensure confident start to Bulgaria's membership in the euro area. So in short, my advice to citizens is simple. Stay calm and be practical. There is no need of over-preparation or any other kind of special preparation. So the central bank, the commercial banks are actually ready.
Централната банка и търговските банки са подготвени.
Колеги, благодаря на всички за участието. Специално благодаря на госпожа Лагард и на господин Радев. И на госпожа Лагард пожелавам да изпълни червеното си вино на Нова година. Българско вино, да.
I will toast to Bulgaria.
Ще вдигна на здравица за България.
Имаме 2 минути, 5 минути. Хайде да отпуснем малко за фотографите, които могат да снимат подаръка, тъй като така пожелаха. И тогава продължаваме с следващата пресконференция.
Yes.